Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole Matrix. Today I'm going to be discussing a book that I wrote a while back, and the contents of this book are extremely important to every single person on this planet. And I'm going to begin right now. As man, we are ever curious about our place and purpose in the universe. We are filled with questions about the hows and whys of our being. We are filled with an insatiable desire and curiosity to know our Creator. Throughout the ages, man has almost entirely lost whatever concept of truth he may have once had due to its pollution by those seeking to control. Religion holds many secrets of truth within its doctrine, but it has also been twisted and morphed to fit the desires of those in power. Those in power have withheld these ancient secrets from the people because it is by these secrets that they maintain control. The purpose of this book is to awaken those who have long been asleep, to open the eyes of the blind so that they may see, and to heal the lame so that they may walk. Ignorance is death. For this reason, it is said, "The dead are not alive, and the living shall never die." The only way to truly live is to learn the knowledge of life. If you believe that the flesh is all there is, then for you this will be the case. However, if you believe that you are eternal, then eternal you shall be. To think is to create. Whenever we think something, we automatically manifest something in the invisible realm. To speak is to bring something to life. It is when we speak and something comes out of our mouth that we turn that possibility, that illusion, into a reality. Action. It is the actions that we produce, or that cause the manifestation of these things. Every image is a word. Every image is a word. And every word begins with a thought. So to think is to create, and to speak is to bring to life. Every image is a word. Every word begins as a thought or an idea. When God created the heavens and the earth, He did so with the word, the spoken word. He spoke reality into existence. This is one of the great mysteries. Imagine it in your hand, you hold nothing, and you have no materials in which to create anything. Now imagine further that I ask you to create whatever comes to your mind. How would you do it? The answer is simple. The mind. Creation is a thought that manifests itself through the spoken word. Until the word is spoken, that idea is nothing more than infinite potential. Hence the saying, to think is to create, to speak is to make alive. When God fashioned man, it is said that He fashioned him from the dust of the earth. Now this statement holds two truths within it. The first being that the dust is symbolic of nothing, or something without life, that God, through the spoken word, used to create life. The second part of that being a literal statement, because our material bodies are composed of all of the elements of the earth. The perfect man is spirit, while the animal man is flesh. In the story of Adam and Eve, it is said that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and that while he was asleep, Eve was pulled from his side. This sleep was not the sleep that most people think of as when we lay down at night to sleep. This sleep was the sleep of ignorance and forgetfulness. Originally, man lived in a garden, which was the paradise, which was God. Everything existed within God, because all that is, that radiates life, comes from the ultimate source of life, which is God, the Creator. Now, the river that flows from the garden and parts into four heads symbolizes the water of life flowing forth from the Creator to water all of his creations. God made man the ruler over all of his domain and gave him the ability to create. Soon man forgot that he himself had been created and began to think that he was the creator of all. When he did this, the sleep of ignorance fell upon him and his spirit was divided into two. This split the perfect man into two different energies, the first being male, whose characteristics are love, truth, and justice, and the other being female, whose characteristics are desire, envy, and greed. This separation was the separation of light and dark. The male represents the sun, light, knowledge, while the feminine aspect represents moon, darkness, and ignorance. The female is the inverted triangle, the inverted cross, and the dove, which represents the fallen spirit, who from heaven has fallen into the material realm to descend upon the cross, which is the body. The female symbolizes the feminine energy that was led astray by desire. The male is the perfection of the inverted triangle. Once a spirit has been perfected, it becomes the seal of Solomon, the Star of David, which is the joining of the triangle with the inverted triangle. This is known as the divine marriage. The offspring of desire was sin, which is Satan. The offspring of desire, lust, and desire to be like God was the first sin, and that was when man was divided into two, when man fell from the spiritual realms above into the lower dimensions, into the lower densities, into the material realm where we exist today. Now, the offspring of desire was sin, and sin is the moon god of Sumer, and and sin was Cain, or the ignorant man. Sin represents Cain of the Bible. He is the rebel. He is the one who went astray. He fell. He was cast out. He was cast out of the realms because he was filled with desire and greed and the unquenchable thirst for power. Now, Cain was a man of the flesh, while Abel represents the man of the spirit. The spirit is a tiny thing, and for this reason it was said that there were giants upon the earth in those days, and also after, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men. The divided male spirit fell into temptation when it was led astray by his female counterpart. This is when the sons of God mated with the daughters of man. Cain symbolizes the material man with no knowledge of God, who performs all sorts of wicked deeds. Mankind eventually created civilization, began placing kings and queens above the people who were told to worship them as gods. The story of the flood is an allegoric one. The flood symbolizes man's fall into ignorance, which is the death of the spirit. This is why it was said, the waters covered the face of the earth, meaning that ignorance was universal. Seth was the seed of knowledge that was given to man in order that he may redeem that which was lost in the beginning. However, eventually man once again lost his way and slid back into ignorance. Ignorance was upon the earth for a long time until the knowledge of God was eventually resurrected. Knowledge throughout history has been lost to the sands of time, but its secrets have been symbolically buried in the hearts and minds of those who seek the Lord diligently. The pillars of Enoch, the emerald tablet, the divine pomander by Hermes, and many other ancient teachings have been preserved and hidden in order that they may be a light to man when darkness once again covers the face of the earth. It is important to point out that God, in truth, is known as the thrice male, who is completely perfect. The feminine was pulled from the side of the man, not the other way around. The Holy Spirit cannot be thought of as female, but rather as the perfected male who ascends to take on the role of the mother. We learn this with the tale of Noah and his 3 sons. Noah's 3 sons were originally the perfect man, or thrice male. When Ham saw his father Noah's nakedness, this was the fall of the perfect man. For it is said, "Thou shalt not uncover thy father's nakedness." However, it is impossible to uncover the mysteries of the eternal Father, but to even desire to do so is death. What this means is that if we even attempt to usurp the role of God by claiming or believing in our own self-divinity, then we have attempted to uncover the nakedness of all knowledge, which is the Father. Man cannot know both the ways of good and evil and at the same time be perfect. This happens in the tale of Terah, Abraham, and Haran. Terah attempted to usurp the throne from God and was immediately cast out of his country. Notice again we have Abraham, Haran, and Lot, just like we had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Cain is Ham, Ham is Terah. When Abraham journeys into the land of Egypt, this is symbolic of Seth's descent from above, which is heaven, into the world below, Egypt. This is why Abraham told his wife, Rachel, to tell the Egyptians that he was his sister. She was his sister. Rachel was fair, and fair is symbolic of wisdom. She was wise. She was the wisdom, because the descended wisdom. The female counterpart of the Lord is known as the wisdom. Now, in the Egyptians, which represent ignorant men, desired to have her, but they could not understand her because ignorance cannot understand wisdom. Light cannot, or darkness cannot perceive the light. So, they defiled her, and they forced her to become a whore. And by whore, we mean a worshiper of foreign gods. We're talking about the fallen spirit, this light that descended and it fell from the heights through all of the dimensions into the material realm, where she became lost. You see, the physical body is feminine in nature because it's finite. It is not eternal. The only thing that is masculine is truth and things that are 100% real. And the definition of real are things that are permanent, immovable, and indestructible because they do not change. Our universe, our reality, is nothing but change. Everything in reality is nothing but frequencies vibrating at different rates, and that will determine how that substance will appear. So, they defiled her. They first forced her to become a whore, passing her about without care. So God brought vengeance upon the Pharaoh, or the destroyer, who was Satan. Rachel was Abraham's wife and his sister, just like Isis was to Osiris. In fact, the tales are one and the same, except instead of being a patriarchy, that would have been a matriarchy. Isis was considered the mother of all living, and Osiris was the father. Isis and Osiris both had a son named Horus, who is equivalent of Seth in Jesus. Osiris also had a brother named Set, or Sut, who despised him just like Cain did his brother Abel. Set, being jealous of his brother Osiris, comes up with a plot to destroy him. According to legend, Set created a wooden box, or an ark, which he brings to a gathering of nobles. He then manipulated Osiris through trickery to get into the box to see if he could fit. Once inside the box, Set slammed the lid shut and locked it. He then took the box and cast it into the Nile, where it eventually became caught in the trunk of a tree. Long story short, Isis finds Osiris and attempts to bring him back to life. But before she was able to do so, Set stole Osiris's corpse, chopped him into many pieces, and spread them all over Egypt. I want to come back to this, because right now we're talking about the division of the spirit. The Spirit of God was divided. He is the well that never runs dry. Every spark of light and spark of life comes from the ultimate source of light and life, which is God. And it is only through God that things have substance, because in darkness there is no substance. In darkness there is no form. Now, Isis then sought out all of the missing parts in order to bring her husband Osiris back to life. This is the redemption. This is the redemption, where the calling home of all of the parts, all of these little divisions of light, bringing them back to coalesce with the all once again. This is the story of the fall and the redemption of man. What this is the division of the fallen spirit. In fact, there is an almost identical tale in the Hebrew Bible. One night, as the master of the house was making merry with a Levite traveler, the sons of Belial, which are Cain, the sons of Belial are Cain. Cain is a title. Cain is like Khan or Cain or Baal or Bel. All of these things mean Lord or King. Well, anyways, the sons of Belial surrounded the house and beat upon the door, screaming, "Bring us the man who is in your house, so that we may know him." The man, however, refused and gave them instead his daughters, saying, "Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden and a concubine. Take her and do with her what seems right in your eyes." They took his concubine and they abused her all night until the morning, and then they let her go. The woman returned to the house at dawn and fell upon the doorstep and died. When the man found his concubine, he took his wife, cut her into 12 pieces, and sent her to all the coasts of Israel. The tale is the same as Abraham and Rachel in Egypt. Notice in the story it says the master of the house. The master of the house is God. God is the master of his house. Everything that exists within God. He is the master of all things, and we exist within God, and all things are part of God. We are appendages of him. Think about it as a tree with infinite branches. Everything that is appendage of God, of that one being. God himself, in reality, descended within himself as the Son to experience himself infinitely. God is experiencing himself infinitely through each and every one of us, through each and every life form in the universe, through each and every atom, every molecule. God is experiencing himself infinitely through all of his creation. I want to end this here. I'm going to start back as soon as we come back on the next video. I hope you guys like it. Hit like, subscribe, because the things I'm going to be talking to you guys about, I can't say it enough. All glory be to God, because none of this could be done without the grace of the Father, who has instilled the wisdom in me, who has given me the time, the patience, the energy, and the understanding to deliver this water to you. I consider myself a water bearer. And as I bear this water, I give it to you freely. I ask no reward. All I ask is that you understand that your Father loves you. He's calling you home. He's whispering in your ear right now. There's a reason you clicked on this video, because you sought to understand further. Do not be manipulated by the world, by the world's beliefs of what people should look like, or scholars, or things of this nature. The thing is, truth comes from within. It doesn't come from without. Truth descends into darkness. And that's all I want to say right now. I hope you guys like, subscribe, and check me out on the next Rabbit Hole Matrix.